What?
Here I come. Oh, here I come. Oh.
We were completely crushed in this match because it was solo queue, and our Hyper was inexperienced. He messed up badly, which gave the enemies a huge early advantage. But honestly, this is exactly what I wanted. A match where I, along with my entire team, died multiple times, and then I made a comeback later on. Why? Because I wanted to create a guide video for you on how to overcome early game difficulties as a marksman. For marksman, once you fall behind early, it becomes really hard to recover. So today, I'll give you both micro and macro tips on what you should do when you're losing the early game as a marksman. Alright, let's start the guide right away. So, it's been a while since I last played in a proper 5-man team. Lately, I've only been grinding solo queue. And you already know what that means. Teammates are going to be questionable. But forget that for now. Here, our Alucard decided to start from blue. I honestly have no idea what his plan was. I was just playing it safe and didn't want to overcommit in the early game. Because Claude is really weak early on, and I didn't want to risk getting caught by the enemies. Here, Alucard and the other 3 decided to contest the buff, and the enemy team also rotated to disrupt them, along with my own lane opponent, Obsidia. So instead of joining that fight, I focused on clearing the minions and taking some gold plate from the turret. You can clearly see the enemies had the advantage there, and on top of that, I'm just a weak early game marksman. So it was 10 times better to farm than to join a losing team fight and end up missing all the minions. Alucard is actually pretty weak in the early game, and on top of that, he recently got nerfed. So invading there really wasn't a good idea. If our Roamer and Mage were strong early game heroes, then maybe it would have been a different story. But we had Atlas and Nana, so with that kind of early game lineup, invading like that just wasn't worth it. And I don't understand why our Roamer was playing so aggressively in the early game, acting as if he's Khalid or something. But guys, in situations like this, you should never join the fight. We clearly had a numbers disadvantage. And honestly, even if it was an even 2v2, I still wouldn't have gone in. Why? Because you never know which enemy is hiding or camping for you. And the exact same thing actually happened later in the match. Now here I'm about to die, and I actually learned something important from that death. When you play Claude against Obsidia, you have to be extremely cautious in the early game. Even if you jump in with full stacks and use your ultimate, she barely takes any damage. On top of that, she has Aegis to survive my burst, and she can simply dash away. And once your ultimate ends, or is about to end, you must instantly retreat. If you stay even a second longer, she will catch you with her own ultimate. And once she lands it, your second skill gets blocked, meaning you can't teleport back and you're basically dead. So I hope you learn from this mistake of mine. Also, I suggest you chip away her HP before using your ultimate. And another important thing, wait for her to use her dash first before you ult. This doesn't apply only to Claude. For all marksmen, if you're using a hero who relies heavily on their ultimate for damage, especially heroes with fixed range burst like Ixia, then always try to chip the enemy's HP first. Make sure they've already used their escape skills like Dash, Flicker, Vengeance, or Aegis. Once their escape tools are gone and their HP is lower, then you can use your ultimate to finish them off. Remember earlier I said I wouldn't force a fight because you never know who's hiding in the bush? Well, that's exactly what happened. Badang was waiting, and I ended up dying. That was my bad. Here, Nana was in the bottom lane, so I decided to take the minions from mid. This is called double laning. You should only do this when your mid laner is busy in another lane. Doing this gives you extra farm, and it also helps your EXP laner because your mage is assisting them, so nobody is losing resources. So if you're losing badly like this, as a marksman, your main job is simple. Stay safe, farm, and keep farming. Your whole role is to deal damage, and without items, you can't do that. So scaling safely is your priority. Farming is important, but being safe is even more important. And to stay safe, map awareness is key. You need to constantly watch the map and predict whether enemies are coming for you or are busy elsewhere. For example, always check if any enemies are missing from the map before clearing minions. If you see all enemies on the other side of the lane or engaged somewhere else like this, even for just a brief moment, you can push and farm. But if you notice enemies disappearing from mid lane or elsewhere just like now, then don't take risks. Go back to base instead of gambling, because dying even once will slow your farming dramatically. After that, you can find a safer lane or jungle spot to continue farming. Safety first, farm second. In solo queue, you can never expect your tank or any frontline hero to help you, peel for you, or even check bushes. Everything falls on you. Even as a marksman, sometimes you have to check bushes yourself, rotate, push, or even play like an assassin when needed. But you still need to be careful with certain obvious danger bushes. Like the one just now, normally that bush is harmless if you're winning because enemies won't dare camp there. But when you're losing, bushes like that become extremely dangerous. Those are the spots where enemies love to wait and catch you instantly. So here, everyone is in the bottom lane, giving me a golden opportunity to farm and push as much as possible. But remember, always keep an eye on the map while you're pushing. Just because you saw enemies busy elsewhere doesn't mean it's safe to ignore them. You need to constantly check whether they've finished fighting or not. If you stop watching the map, you'll have no idea when they've wrapped up and rotated to gank you, and that can easily get you caught. From this chance to farm and push, I managed to grab about 400 to 500 gold in total. That's a huge advantage I got from just one small opportunity. If you keep doing this consistently, you can manage to get your 3 core items in just 6 to 8 minutes, even if you're behind. And if you're winning, you can complete them even faster. The key takeaway here is understanding the value of taking advantage of small opportunities like these. They add up and can completely turn your game around. It's true. When you're playing solo, don't worry about saving other random teammates. I actually died twice trying to save mine. And even in a 5-man team, you don't have to try saving someone if they're already dead for sure. Sometimes it's better to prioritize your own safety and farm than to risk dying for no reason. And look at our Alucard. Just imagine how bad his farming skill is. He's 3 levels below the enemy marksman, and my KDA is also actually trash right now. But now watch this. Did you notice this very small detail? I actually waited here for just about 0.5 seconds. This was to let the tank make the first move, take the stuns or damage, and then I came in from the back unexpectedly. That way I could manage to take them out efficiently. Because the tank initiated first, the enemies focused on him and didn't notice the real threat coming from behind. This small distraction allowed me to shred them without being immediately targeted. These are so tiny details that many players can't even notice, but they're extremely useful. Timing is crucial. Even a 0.5 second delay can make a huge difference. Imagine if I had gone in earlier. I might have been focused down, stunned, or had my ultimate cancelled. So in team fights, timing matters more than you think. Even half a second can change the outcome of a fight, and ultimately, the game. From this moment, I started to snowball and gradually turned the game around. Here, 2 of our teammates died, and after that Atlas tried to make a play. But he was very late. Thankfully, I had enough mobility to reach the fight, but even then, it wasn't a good setup. The timing was off, and I had to pay the price for it. I died and nearly lost the entire game. Fortunately, Xborg was still alive to help, but if I had attacked Ling when he was coming from the wall, I might have killed him. Still, that's how it goes. Sometimes things just don't work out. Now look at our Alucard. He decided to fight even though he could have just used his first skill to escape. This is exactly why it's so hard to not lose the early game when you have a hyper like this. He literally didn't come to my lane even once. If you rewind and watch, you won't see him rotate to help me a single time. If any other marksman were in my place, the game might have already ended, because the enemy marksman would be so farmed that he could shred the entire team easily. But fortunately, I was there, farming safely, taking advantage and getting more gold than the enemy Ling, even though he had 13 kills and 12 assists. Just now I could have escaped, but in order to save Exborg, I was shredded by enemy marksmen. How foolish I was to go and try to save, even though the enemy was Obsidia. And again, you can see our Alucard performance. So this part, I think, is the best moment of the game. Watch closely. I'm gonna explain something here. So, Badang had already used his wall on our fighter and tank. After that, Ling used his ultimate. I waited for his ultimate to land because it could have cancelled mine. Only after Ling's ultimate hit did I charge in and shred the enemies. Yes, Guinevere was also there, but at that moment, our base was about to be destroyed. I had to take a gamble, and fortunately, everything worked out perfectly. And yeah, that one timing basically saved the whole fight. If I went in earlier or later, it probably wouldn't have worked. But everything lined up perfectly and we somehow flipped the situation. But if that Guinevere was good and landed the stun on me perfectly, then the game would have ended by now. So yeah, the tiniest bit of patience and the courage to take a calculated gamble is all you need to shift the entire momentum in your favor. But as I always say, don't lose hope even if you're getting destroyed early on. We've all played matches where it looked completely hopeless, yet somehow we still managed to turn it around in the end. It happens more often than you think. When you're losing, the most important thing is to stay focused and remember all the basic tips you know, because those small things start mattering a lot. Keep pushing side lanes, keep farming, wait for the right moment to join fights, keep pressuring the map, punish enemy mistakes, and look for every tiny opening you can find. When you're behind, these small decisions add up and can slowly pull you back into the game. And honestly, focus, man. Yes, guys, focus is everything. When you're losing, it's natural to panic or make silly mistakes because your mind is pressured. But I suggest you try to stay calm and collected. Anyone can play calmly when the game is going well, but only a few can remain calm and focused when everything is falling apart. So try to be that person. If you can stay focused even while losing, you'll notice how much easier it becomes to catch those opportunities and slowly swing the game back in your favor. Guys, are you noticing something? The enemies are actually starting to throw the game. And this happens to almost everyone. When you're winning too hard, you start underestimating the enemy without realizing the gap is closing. By the time you notice, the enemy cores are already more farmed than you. So don't be that person. I know this is a bit off topic, but honestly, take this advice too. When you're winning, don't let your guard down. That's exactly how teams lose games they should have easily won. Anyway, the enemies here are doing exactly that. Overextending, taking bad fights, and basically throwing. So this was the perfect moment for us to take advantage of their mistakes, and we did. I hope you learned something from this. See you in the next one.